obviously really hard to economically recover from those bad starts. So we'll see if he can clean up those openings a little bit, and if he's able to do that, Ben, the Terrans have been doing well. Wow, this is actually, I've seen this before today.
This is a bit aggressive here, and yeah, you say that about Hurricane versus Cure, but TY, it's a very similar thing. He was getting so many probe kills early on against SOS, and then managed to actually lose the game, and that's kind of crazy to me, but...
Reaper? Sorry to interrupt you.
Is it going to scout this immediately? If so, this is some... Oh, the Reaper. This is crazy by TY, and scouting that Stargate. I wonder if Hurricane knows he's been scouted here.
I don't think he does.
Because if he stayed just out of vision, that is so much knowledge and power. And I love the fact that TY didn't go and attack that pylon and stuff, because that's just like, hey, I've seen you, but now you know that I've seen you.
Yep, and if people wonder why wouldn't you go for that pylon immediately, it's because you're not going to be able to get it. Not at least at first. At first, Adept could always shade to the other side of the map. The Adept is still at home for now, but it will take a very long time. TY also wants that Stargate to finish up. Look at that timing. Now he knows that it is indeed finished up. He can see what kind of a unit is being produced, but of course there will always be an Orca here. Ooh. And now he actually goes for the pylon, and because he waited so long, the Adept is still on the other side of the map. This is actually a really sick play, and can he unpower the Stargate? This is going to be... I think he's going to be able to do that, man. With two Marines and a Reaper. And where is that probe? I think the probe is coming from the Zelnaga Watchtower now, but this is a really rough start for Hurricane.
It's super rough, Kevin, and here we do have a pylon that will be placed here again, but there's a Cyclone studio, nice blocking.
Oh, come on!
The probe just gets up, so the pylon does go down, but now a Cyclone does join, and he
out on the map. They are supposed to catch the units that were running to the other side of the map. They were supposed to like shave Marines off one by one. This is not where you want to be. At this point, Hurricane is going to realize that they reacted too late against the Liberator, and don't forget about all those Marines, the Cyclones and the tanks showing up over here as well. Disaster.
Oh no. I think those Stalkers showing up, by the way, Natural was like, great, they're over here, right? I'm just going to be pushing you and dealing damage in two locations now that I've seen those Stalkers out of place, and Hurricane's been punished really hard for it as well.
Yep, a flawless victory. It started out with a proxy Stargate, and how did we end up like this? That's what Hurricane is asking himself right now. It was not supposed to be this bad. TY is actually playing this very safe. He's like, I haven't won a game yet in this tournament. It's only been, this is only his second best of 3, of course. But, you know, why take a risk? You don't need to take a risk at this point. He knows he's in a fantastic economic position. He knows he's in a great army position at this point as well. He's pretty much doubling the army supply of Hurricane. And what can Hurricane do? Throws on the Templar Archives. I kind of like it, because I think at this point you need a magical comeback, and maybe a couple of storms can do just that.
Yeah, that's one of the things. When you put in a position like this, it just looks super damn bad for you that any choice feels like the wrong one. Right now, though, he's putting a bit of pressure on here. That is one tank, but he blinks into 3, and he's getting absolutely butchered here. All the Stalkers fall. Yes, you killed 4 SCVs, but was it worth the trade? And the answer is absolutely not.
He didn't even get that one tank, right?
I think, did he? Did he not?
Oh,
yeah, he might have got one tank, but...
I was looking at the mini-map, and I was like, I still see blue there, but that was the depot, so one tank did go down, but at the cost of 6 Stalkers. It's a disaster of a game for Hurricane, there's no other way to put it. Really nothing is going his way. He does fire up Storm immediately, and like I said, I like it, because you're right, Ben, almost every choice you can possibly make at this point is the wrong one, but hey, maybe with Storm you can make a comeback possible.
120 supply against 78. It's obviously super darn rough for Hurricane. The Storm, he does have an upgrade an upgrade advantage here, which is cool and what have you. He's still maintaining a slight probe lead, but TY, he's in the comfort zone right now. He's got this Warp Prism trapped on one side, turret and Cyclones just surrounding it, another turret on the bottom as well, so that can't really do much over there.
You can potentially recall the Warp Prism. I'm not sure if recall's still on cooldown or not, because obviously he did use that one recall on the Stalkers. That was actually a shame, right? Because let's say Hurricane lets that Nexus die, but then he does still save his 6 or 7 Stalkers, and he just gets slightly more value out of those. And maybe it wouldn't have been all that bad. It would have always been bad, but maybe it's slightly more playable. At this point, it just really feels like the entire deck is stacked against Hurricane. He's going to try to buy some time with a little Zealot run by, but you look at his Terran army. The Terran army is massive, and what does Hurricane have to work with? How many High Templars do we have out? 4? Okay, I mean, 4 of the best storms of all time, Ben, and I
Wow.
believe there's 2 more High Templars though on the left side.
I don't believe they have Storm though yet, Kevin. And
They don't.
these tanks, they're getting into a gnarly position here. Lots of Marines stimmed, and the only High Templars with energy available got Interference Matrix, and now TY. He's put him in such a terrible location here. Immortals can't really get the damage done. The Zealots try and trade with the tanks, but TY is just kind of pulling them apart here from one side to the other.
Wow.
Nice counterattack by Hurricane, but a bunker nicely positioned here. He knew Hurricane's next move, and he's dominating this game.
Yeah, that's gonna be all 0. The Zealots will not be able to get much done at all against that bunker. The storms, obviously, it was impossible for him to land the best storms ever because the tanks were zoning away those High Templars as well. TY putting some serious pressure on this Nexus, and at this point, Hurricane just has nothing left. He's got 2 Stalkers, 2 slow Zealot Warpins there as well, and 1 Archon. Love the fighting spirit, but this one, wow, eventually they got the bunker actually. Look at that, and 15 SCVs. Probably needed a little more than that, but that's kind of cool.
It's weird that he was so far behind that this is still a terrible situation for him, losing so many SCVs. But here, this is it. TY just pushing forward, lots of bio, equal upgrades. The Archons, they can't do anything. He's running away, but he's losing everything as he goes. 3 tanks in this as well, and Hurricane's army is just evaporating here, and TY takes a convincing first game.
Yeah.
So this game he is opting for a barracks first, gas second. The other game he went for the gas first build. So already mixing it up a little bit is TY.
It's funny that I was going on in the beginning of that first map, how Hurricane keep getting himself in these disastrous early game positions where he's just so far behind and it's almost impossible to turn it into a normal game. And that happened again on the Eternal Empire. So maybe if I was Hurricane at this point, I'd be like, you know what? Let's just chill for a bit. Maybe I'll just go for a defensive blink opening and actually just try to defend. Make sure that my defenses are on lockdown, that nothing terrible could happen, and take the game from there. Because those kind of games, it's just like, it's an unfair fight at one point. Your opponent is so far ahead, and no matter how good you are, you're just not going to be able to turn that around.
TY's openings, if I'm a Protoss player, I feel uncomfortable for them going up against him. Like here, we have the Reactor first opening. Obviously, Hurricane did no scouting, but seeing the SV, that makes me think like, oh, what's he doing this for? Like, isn't there meant to be a Reaper showing up sometime soon? But back at home, he's mixing it up. A Reactor first of all things, meaning he's going to be super safe against the first Adept if it does choose to cross the map. But I'm also wondering, what is he going to follow this up with? Because this isn't a normal way of going about a Terran build.
Could be one of those weird Marine tank pushes before he even has Stim or Combat Shield, or maybe just one of those 2 upgrades. Because if he obviously keeps the Reactor on that barracks, he's going to be able to get a lot of Marines out. We'll see. There is an Adept that's going to shade to the other side of the map. It could be very quick. Hellions, Hurricane absolutely dodging a bullet there. First Observer is going to head to the main base. We don't have a shield battery in the main base, correct? No, we don't. But it seems like TY is just going to play this slow and steady. He wants to wait until he has 2 Banshees, because I do believe he has a second Banshee. And obviously the power of 2 Banshees is that they don't care about shield batteries. You have enough DPS to just gun down probes one by one. Just when TY is feeling so good, he's like, okay, I just want to make sure I don't die against the random 12 Zealot attack with charge, you know what I mean? Whew.
I love that little wall that he made it as natural, by the way, with the tank kind of defending. It's just very nice, and it means that you can't just dive into the, like, up the ramp if you have Adepts or anything like that. But this new meta that Terrans have kind of evolved into with 3 CCs while playing very aggressive with the Hellions, it's causing the Protoss players a lot of trouble at this event, it seems.
Yep. I just feel for Hurricane. It just feels like he can't catch a break.
Your Protoss brother, I see you. You're pained.
No, I just want to see what he's made of. He had a great run. He gave us a couple of fantastic games in the offline qualifiers that we've had here the first 2 days of this event. He didn't start Charge, by the way, and I'm honestly not sure if he's aware of that. Because Charge is so cheap that I feel like you should pretty much always start it immediately. It doesn't really cost that much. He's getting a lot of gateways. There is no way this is on purpose, but he's going to end up losing quite a few probes here, I'm afraid. The Stalkers are out of position. The Banshees are going to show up. And this is what I mean, man. He just can't catch a break. He is not able to get himself in a decent position. He's taking so much economic damage in all of these games. And please, Hurricane, at least start Charge. Otherwise, you are dead in the water, my friend.
Oh, more damage being done. It's not stopping anytime soon. He doesn't even have the Observer in position. 2 of them even chasing these Banshees at this point. And TY is going to be so happy with the damage he got done. 16 probes fall. And TY, he's got his 3rd up behind all this. He's got double upgrades on the way. He's got every upgrade he wants on the way with Stim, Combat Shields, Concussive Shell. He's going to be pummeling out a really big army very soon. And Hurricane, everything's gone wrong for him again this game.
The fact that he even loses 16 probes while there was nothing else happening on the map at this point. The Stalkers were technically at home. They were in the wrong base, but they were technically at home. That's simply a few too many, man. You cannot be losing that amount of workers against Terran players like TY, like Cure, of course, that he already lost to in this group as well. The Stalkers are going to see this army in the middle of the map. Hurricane did drop a Robo base, who probably wants to get a Colossus or a Disruptor out. But Ben, he's got absolutely nothing that can fight this Terran army. He's swapping in Zealots at this point, but these are going to be the saddest Zealots of all time because they're going to be as slow as I am on the treadmill.
Oh, yeah, he's like making TY back off a little bit here, but TY is just kind of happy doing that. He's waiting for his upgrades, he's waiting for more units. This run by.
If TY would have attacked that, then he just wins though.
He does, he does.
So slow Zealots just don't do anything.
I know, and I mean, like, I think he's giving Hurricane a lot of respect this game, as if he hasn't made any of those errors where he gets an earlier Robo, so the Observer would have been there in time, but we got to give TY credit. So far this game, he's been very respectful, but very good at the same time.
Charge is only halfway done. He scans his army, he sees a couple Zealots, and now he's going to realize that these Zealots do not have charge, and that means that this Protoss army is terrible. There is simply no other way to put it. Zealots with 1-1, they could have absolutely brought the fight to these Marines and Marauders, but poor Hurricane is really falling apart in this game.
Oh, so much bio, so much TY, pushing, absolutely smashing that army, and GG TY takes a very convincing series.
Yep, that is one way to bounce back for the Intox 3 Masters 2018 champ. He lost his first series of the day against SOS, and that's scary because this group has Cure and of course has Zero in it as well. But at least TY with a very convincing performance in his second series means he's right back in the mix to potentially make it into the playoffs of the Intox 3.